Jody Jackson brought to you by Shamrock Farms and Rockin' Protein. She joins us every week. Jody, let's go over to the Cardinals, and they are in Denver this week. What do you want to see in week two that you didn't see in week one outside of Kyler throwing it directly to somebody from the other team?
Yeah, that was a little shocking. And he just, kind of went over it like, well, I need to put more air under the ball and make the mistakes now and all that stuff. But it still was a little shocking to see.
Yeah.
More of the same. I think it was important. I do love the fact that the starters got their feet wet out there in a real game. I think that, I guess I'm a little old school that way. I feel like they should at least play in one game. And so they did that. Look, the run game looked good. I think the running back tandem of Benson and Connor, and then Amari DiMercato continues to impress people. I mean, there's a lot there, Brad, defensively. The D line looked pretty good. And then Jacoby Brissett is a big story. I
Yes.
enjoyed listening to him last week talk because he had great perspective on quarterback play and on, hey, sometimes it's about doing the basics, and that's a really good lesson for Kyler too. I think sometimes it's about taking the check down or just getting everyone aligned. And sometimes it's just the basics that matter the most. And Brissett looks like he's going to be a solid backup. And that's really what you can get out of when we look at quarterback play. If we're not going to see Kyler again, which we probably won't, you're looking at the other guys.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett, I could turn to and say, get in there for him because he's just not figuring it out after all these years. I can turn to Jacoby Brissett. If Kyler Murray's out concussed in the second quarter at New Orleans in the season opener and not feel like the wheels are going to fall off. I haven't felt that way about the guys behind him, and I'm not going to rip them, but it just feels like a tremendous upgrade at that position in terms of the backup to Kyler. Very few quarterbacks, Jody, make it through the season unscathed. So I thought Brissett showed a lot. I thought that was the highlight, at least for me. There weren't many. It is what it is.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and Kyler's a guy that has been able to dodge a lot of that as far as contact. We all know that his ability to be slippery is what keeps him out on the field a lot. And I think the O-line, another thing that I was looking for, and I talked about this on the pregame huddle on radio, was Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams coming off knee surgery and back in there, and he looked pretty good. I thought it was just important to see him out there because he's one guy that I feel like was a little under the radar in camp, didn't see him in the one-on-one drills as much. So I think that is a good sign. I think, again, the O-line is potentially a strength of this team. If they stay healthy, that's a big if with O-linemen because we all know how beat up they can get in there. So yeah, Kyler, that he's a guy that for the most part has stayed pretty clean, and you hope that's the case. But I do agree, Jacoby Brissett is fine. It's kind of like Colt McCoy a few years back, going back.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good
feel
point.
like he was a guy that when he was still effective, when we found out that the first year with Gannon, when Josh Dobbs had to be called into it had to be traded for because Colt kind of fell off with the arm ability. But Colt was that kind of guy, and I think Jacoby Brissett is that kind of guy that can definitely get the job done and be a very a good voice in the ear for Kyler and Clayton Tune as well, in that room.
Let you go off that. Safe travels. Interesting week ahead. Thanks.
Thanks, Brad.
There is Jody Jackson on the road today, brought to you by Shamrock Farms, Rock and Refuel. We appreciate their support and Jody as well. We're back with more after this timeout.